hello people, and welcome to Talk Made Easy. So this is a webinar where made and sponsored by the project of T.E.D over here. We have a lot of participants from many countries in Europe, and we're all together in the project from Erasmus Plus. So it's sponsored by Erasmus Plus here in Poland, in Murza or something like that. But anyway, as we
near Zakopane.
it is near Zakopane, so it's very beautiful. Lots of clouds and mountains. It's really nice, and there's some snow around. So why talk made easy? When we were talking here with other participants, and we're observing that pretty much not a lot of people know how to make presentations in front of an audience or concerts. Like they pretty much don't know how to be. It's a very common issue in the modern times is that people are afraid of cameras, afraid of audiences, or even afraid of just looking people in the eyes. So pretty much I'm going to talk a little bit about that. We are going to talk a little bit about it on the most basic steps, baby steps on how to better communicate with people, on how to better pass your message to a crowd. It's going to be very easy. Everyone can do it. I'm no experience myself, by the way. I'm Tiago from Portugal, by the way. It's my colleague
Camila from Lithuania.
So as you can see, we're from very different parts of the world, and we're together here in Poland. Once again, as I said, in this project that is T.E.D that is about to finish, but oh well, we already learned and shared quite a lot. So who am I? I'm from Portugal, as I mentioned, and I'm working right now as a tour guide and a musician. And these are pretty much two areas where you need to be very comfortable in front of the crowd, especially in tour guiding, because you're talking with people. You're giving a message, you're sharing with them some history, some funny facts, some things about your culture. So you really need to know how to pretty much put best this image, this message, and how to make them stick with the knowledge of that you're giving them. So I didn't study anything connected with communication. I've been pretty much focused on non-formal education, and I've been learning and in a constant process of learning more and hopefully becoming a master of it. That pretty much in a very slow pace, I'm becoming way more comfortable. But I see that a lot of people share the same fears that I have and things that I pretty much been through, and crowds are one of those. So I started pretty much like almost 2 years ago with being a tour guide, and when you're in front of a crowd, like even if it's like 3 persons to like 20, it's always complicated to like, what should I say? You're always kind of looking down or like looking up because you're uncomfortable. You're gesticulating a lot. Your arms never stop. And you're moving around maybe because you're uncomfortable. Your body shows a lot of things that pretty much maybe you don't want to show. And pretty much, yeah, with time you start to learn how to handle this. And you see that pretty much is a very common topic, or there's very simple steps that you can take to actually acquire that. By the way, sooner or later, Camille over here is going to read some questions that some people wrote to us before about curiosities they had on things they're curious or they want to know how I manage. Once again, I'm not a master. This is real based on non-formal education, but that's how we grow. So later on, if you have any ideas, any plans, any things you'd like to share with us, like thumbs up, literally.
Yeah, you can add in the comment. There's some kind of.
Yeah. There's a chat around that's like when you pop up a question that or just show up somewhere and you can also answer it in case you want to know something, of course. Sharing is caring, and that's what I'm trying to do here. So as I was saying, so the first steps of public speaking are pretty much your posture. So what does this mean? If you're kind of like curled up, like in a corner, there you go. Like, hey, I'm Tiago. This is Camila.
Hello, my name is Camila.
Who would be more who would you look first, like the guy like kind of showing insecure in the corner, the person who's actually sitting tall and like showing like, yeah, I know what I'm doing, like versus the guy like, yeah, I don't know if you should want to be here, like this is actually something that I'm all the time doing by like when I find myself in an uncomfortable situation. I really see that I kind of curl down and like start like kind of hiding myself. And this actually, there's no reason for that. Okay, we're insecure, we don't know people. In this case, for example, I'm giving a presentation in English that is not my native language, so sometimes this counts as like, oh, I might fail. But yeah, but it's something that's very easy to fight. So pretty much one of the things that people should really focus a little bit when they're starting like working many ways, or even like just doing presentation for their bosses or something, is working on their posture. They're already like kind of like standing tall. It's so much better because they pretty much show a lot of more respect. And if they're going down is automatically the first step for showing that you're insecure and that you're not feeling okay with yourself and what you're going to say. And probably you're going to be way more prone to getting a question. Sorry, that you'll be surprised and like getting confused and start to go more back and like more defensive, and that's what you don't want. You want to face on a person when they're actually talking with you. So afterwards, we had the body language. What's this about body language? Like, if you're giving a message, if you're trying to sell products, I'm already starting with body language. You really want to use like your hands, not like just walking around like as if you're making some kind of dance. Like this is really confusing, and this is why actually one of the most common issues that people have is like the hands, the arms. Like, what should I do with my arms? Where should I put them? Right now I'm sitting down, but like, so should I be like this? Should I always put the hands on top? What should I be like this? And like, how would the people be more prone to pass the message? Actually, like the idea of just having your hands down, arms down, like in a comfortable position, like on top of the table. You could be even like closing your hands like between your legs if you're standing. Like one hand in one pocket, it's okay, but like it shows a little bit more like you're overly relaxed, and sometimes it can show that you're actually not giving the best. But like it shows that you're very comfortable, but at the same time, maybe you shouldn't be so comfortable because these people might not know you, or they know you, and still like you need to show respect, but at the same time be in a comfortable position. Once again, on my opinion. So just stand straight, put your arms down, put on the front. You can put on the back. Avoid like holding objects like pens, for example, especially the ones with clicky tops, because you start like click, 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 and it becomes really annoying. And also like if you're all the time like making the noise of clicking, people start getting focused on the object and not on you. And you're trying to give a message. You're trying to get to sell something, and pretty much the person is focused on over everything but your voice. And the same way happens with the hands. So if you're actually gesticulating quite a lot, it's going to be very difficult to focus on the main message that is you. But using your hands is also a very good weapon to show, okay, this is amazing. Like I was there, like this happened. But like as long as you don't keep throwing them around, like you just don't care, is a really good thing. But anyway, moving on, we also have the situation of loudness versus whispering. For example, I always think that I'm speaking very loud, and then I start to see like people kind of, especially in groups when I'm on the streets. There's a lot of factors, like for example, in a square that has lots of people around cars. I only like, and I see like going, and as like maybe I need to ask, do you speak? Do you think I'm being very loud? And they're like, no. Can you please go up a bit? So actually, a small tip: if you're actually doing tours, for example, as in my case, in squares, always focus on places that you think it's not going to be noisy, so that you pretty much have a lot of more space to talk. If you have a little bit of a high hill where you can stand and people can be lower than you, it's perfect because sound propagates way better way. And pretty much avoid whispering because people start going like, "Well, what is he saying?" Even when you're with a microphone, this starts to be annoying. Your message, just be relaxed. Try to be as relaxed as you can. Don't be all the time like really pushing the voice to the max, where like seems like you're running uphill and there's like those football the guys who are talking football matches like oh, relax. Unless you're telling a story, there's like kind of something connected with football or something like one guy is passing the ball to the other, blah 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 blah, and it scores or whatever, and you show emphasis on this end part. But no, in general, find the most comfortable way for you to talk, because actually, like if you talk for a long time, your voice starts to hurt. You start to feel really bad, and like if you work every day doing the same, on the first day it might be okay, the second might be more or less okay, third, fourth, fifth starts going down, and you start to feel very bad about yourself. More. Anything I can add more is more like eye contact. I'm horrible with eye contact, literally. Like it's one of the hardest things for me to do is really eye contact. I'm talking with people and I'm looking at them like, yeah, I'm talking with imagine this, like I'm the person. This is for some cultures this is real. Like you're talking with a person and this person is focused on you and you're not even with them. You're like focus on almost like this car pass behind. It's really this person is fully kind of like for all the other spots. But just try to focus. There's a lot of if you're actually talking with the person in front of you guys, you can always look kind of around this part. It still gives you the idea, looking the person in the eyes, but you actually focus like most in their forehead or nose, really gives the idea still that you manage to do this eye contact. Because you're a human, so they'll be actually happy and feel that they're being like they're important. It matters that you're looking at this person. But for example, if you're in the audience and you don't want to be making eye contact with each person that is in the room, like choose one point and choose the other and just like go very fast. And like you end up crossing a lot of eyes and not stopping in any. So everyone feels that they were noticed. Everyone feels that you pretty much make them feel recognized that they are there, but you're not focusing on anyone's eyes. You're just focusing on two different corners of a room, of a street, whatever. Many different examples. But I think this is like the most basic steps. Really like posture, body language, like how your voice is comfortable, like the eye contact, and then like in case of if you want to work at like talking with people in conferences, guiding, be natural. Of course, like don't start like slang words. What's up, man? What's happening? Like no. Unless you're really in Ireland like that, and you know that's going to be politically correct. Like, but still, I've never done that in my life. I don't know if you've ever been in like in a place like conferences stuff. It's like slang words everywhere. It's like
I don't know, maybe stand-ups or something like that.
Yeah, like it's gonna be like stand-ups. Everything once again depends on the context, depends on what you're doing, what is your plan. Of course, you see lots of stand-ups that start with real like guys like freak out about why am I here, like kind of thing. It really depends a lot on the message that you want to give. But anyway, try one thing that was very nice was also believing that the person that is there wants to be there or might be curious to see why it's there. So you need to seem like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm saying. I know what I'm speaking. I know that what I have is interesting. This person is good to be here. So you know what, like storytelling is like this. You need to have this, and you need to keep the attention focused on this, and you need to keep the person like why is this? Why is this? Why is this? So it's very like natural for you to already like a social person, even if you're not. I wasn't at all. Like, just it's a matter of practicing, trying to get more comfortable with talking with people. You can always try like talking in front of the mirror. You're going to completely think you're ridiculous, but it makes you get comfortable, more and more comfortable. You can practice with your family and friends, like, hey, I have this to do. Like, can you help me out? Don't like make me nervous if you want to try and fight this nervous part. Like, see if I can get better in any way. Just look for feedback. Feedback is always nice to have. Like, even if it's negative, like focus on the most constructive one. Focus on the positive one. Like, if someone says, "No, you're not made for this," why not? Why is like someone coming out of nothing already like cutting your legs like this? Like, say, no, this is not for you. Like, that's really like focus on yourself, believe in yourself. I never expected I'll become a tour guide. As I mentioned, I never studied anything. I pretty much just got the interest of history. Always showed my cities to friends and such like. So like, why not? Why not trying? It was actually in Poland that I started doing tours. So just because I like the city, and this passion grew up. And as I said, like I'm still looking for feedback constantly because I never know if I'm getting better and better, if this is getting good or not. So it's a matter of like getting better and better. If you aim for higher, you get higher. And there's a lot of people that can help. Nowadays, it's really easy to find people that can help you share, give you nice feedback. It's really nice. So be natural, be yourself. But then there's also something it's very interesting. For example, I love sarcasm and irony, but culturally, every culture has a very different concept of sarcasm and irony. So pretty much know the people you're talking with. This is another topic I should have mentioned. If you're going to be in a professional conference, don't start making jokes about like sarcasm or like ironic jokes. Like, people might not be very into it. It's like, yeah, you're trying to sell me this new program, why you're making like jokes. And the moment you start bashing on other products, people also going to be like, why is your good? So be natural. If you think the people are gonna react well with sarcasm, yeah, after a while, like for example in tours, as a tour guide, like you spend a lot of time with this person or with this group, so they start to know how you are. You start to learn a little bit more how people are, because you need to observe them. Part of the eye contact is also observing who you have around. So once again, be yourself, act natural, and see where you can get. Some people also focus a lot on the clothes. For example, I suck at clothes because I'm very lazy. But some companies are more like, yeah, you need to be more like shirt, well dressed and such. So that some others are like, you can be way more relaxed. If you're going to be walking a lot, it won't be very nice to be with a suit. If you like, for example, in Lisbon, it's always up and down. Going by suit and like nice shoes is not the most comfortable thing, but it really depends on where you are. If it's a job interview, if it's a conference, yeah, a suit is probably practical and accepted than like being with band t-shirts like how I am right now. Like, know that you don't care how you're presented about. And that's also one of the reasons why here, because here is really non-formal, so we don't need to be careful most of those things. Anyway, something I forgot to mention regarding your voice. I was mentioning like don't be screaming all the time. Don't be always in a very high volume. Find the level where you feel really comfortable. But if you start feeling that you have your voice going down and you need something, there's also a lot of teas. Like for example, onion peel tea. Yes, is very good. Honey is also very good. But like if you're vegan, for example, it won't be accepted. Like onion tea is one of those things that actually a lot of singers use. You have mint, and always, but like, always is like always have a bottle of water. The moment you start feeling that your throat is getting dry, stop and drink a little bit of water. And actually, the water is also a very nice tip in case someone is asking you a question, and you're like, "Oh, nice, yeah, that question you asked me." So sip, and while you're doing the sip, if you don't have the question right in the prepare, the time it takes is like grab the bottle, opening it up, taking a sip, closing it down. You probably already had time to think about the question and the answer you wanted to give. So it's also a very cool tip. The friend of mine is a master of public speaking, called Lério back in Portugal, and he's actually like, for me, one of the masters that taught me quite a lot. This was for me one of the most interesting tips that he gave me, alongside the ones with focusing from one corner to the other. If you don't want to make eye contact with everyone in the room, the guy is really amazing. Thank him about this because he's giving me also lots of support to keep talking and getting better at speaking. But well, I think that's right now enough, and we're gonna get some questions to answer. So let's start.
Thank you, Diego. I think we get like a lot of tips for public speaking for our first or one of the first speeches. Yeah, it's like really important, all these things you said. And, yeah, we have some questions. So let's start with the first one. What is hard for you, or do you not have any complexes to start speaking with unknown people, persons, and when you meet like something new? And because, for example, for me, it's something like really easy. I can start conversations that I know that for others it's like really hard to say that first hello. So may you have any tips how to break these ices?
It's actually very funny because I'm horrible at starting a conversation with a person. Yep. I want to start a conversation like if I see a girl in the bar that I'm like, oh my god, I want to talk to her, I'm never going to talk to her at all. Like really. But
so probably I'm not that kind of girl because
I mastered keeping a conversation. But what makes me real uncomfortable is when for example, when I am giving a concert or when I'm doing a tour and I see there's someone there that I know is like way more experienced than I am, or like a greater musician. I think you always have this feeling of like, yeah, like I'm learning, he's way better. Like, I don't know, I had one concert in Spain where one of my favorite musicians was actually watching my concert, and like he's almost one god for me. And this is real. I was like, okay, I really need to focus. And like you start getting really stressed, really confused, really like, I need to do the best. But like at the same time, it's like if you're in front of an audience doing a tour, if you're on top of the stage giving a concert, because people want you to be there, and you were asked in the case of concerts, you were asked to be there. And in the situation of the tours, like your company believe that you are good enough to be there. So if they believe you're good enough, like you should just keep doing what you're doing, because you're probably already doing things in a good way, so people actually think you're enough for that. But yeah, but I'm really insecure about starting a conversation with people that I really don't know. For me, it's really difficult. But I think it's a good answer, more or less. Just be natural.
Yes.
Just be natural.
Yeah.
Like believe in yourself.
Personally, I'm just started to imagine that everybody feels uncomfortable in a way.
Yeah.
Also, these public speeches, they were like they felt like really super uncomfortable, and right now they're just improving their self-confidence. So I guess that's the key. When you go to like other persons, he or she will also will feel uncomfortable. So also it's about like public speeches. You should feel your listener comfortable. You should spread your idea and serve it to your listener.
Yeah.
Because they also feeling like and it's also about your body language. If you are like this, starting oh, I'm doing something wrong because the person.
I'm remembering now, like when I was like 10, 15 years ago, there were situations that I would start scatting. So I was like, hey there, like, hey, like, he's special or something. And I was like, it was just being very nervous, like starting a conversation with people. Although, and with time it starts to get better. But as once again, if if it's in case of a tour, people know, you know what they want to know. They want to know about history. They want to know about this. But you can always ask them like, so what you want to know? So I think it's really like trying to get as used to the fact of being like natural and learning a little bit how to improvise in a way. Like you never know what they're going to hear, what questions you're gonna get, and like also trying to start conversations. Always like we can start or not. You never know how it goes.
Yeah, sometimes I think that, you know, I shouldn't take everything super personal. I mean, if you spread an idea or, you know, if you start like new conversation, you just, you know, want to say something, but you are not, you know, that main thing. I mean, you just changing.
It starts.
Yeah,
It's kind of like
just
starts.
So, okay, we still have like a couple of questions.
Okay.
So the second one from Diego, yeah. Maybe any recommendations for those who are afraid or just have no idea how to start communicating with a known person?
Well,
So,
mirror, once
yeah.
again, the mirror part, like starting with the mirror part, asking your friends for help. Everyone has different techniques. It's amazing. Like it can be even be like, oh my god, it's raining. Have you noticed? Or cigarettes are amazing for that. I'm not a smoker. I think if I would smoke, I would be a master at starting conversation with people. Like if it was like either a lighter, paper, or whatever, it's an amazing conversation starter. But yeah, I don't have that part. So it's like, hey, do you like beer? Hey, like I see that we're in the same concert. Maybe you like this band that we both paying to see. But and actually, it's like it really depends a lot, like how you want to do things. Like it really depends a lot on the context. Also, like for example, here in this kind of projects, like Erasmus Plus projects, is very easy because everyone here is for the same reason. So like you know that the person wants to be there so this is for the same reasons you are, even if they're a little bit lost, like at least they'll tell like, yeah, I'm lost, I don't know why I'm here. But you already started conversation, so why don't you know? Blah, blah, blah. So
because
I would go,
that they expected
yeah. So I'll start like I don't know with hey, how are you? Can you just throw the ball and say like, hey, I don't know how to start a conversation, but can you help me out? And like a person. I tried this once actually. So part others believe that like you're not the monster that you think you're worth of people's attention and having people wanting to meet you and be with you. So
So can I
yeah,
ask
I
you
think so.
our third question?
Mm-hmm.
It's in the time to speak in public, better the preview preparation or follow our instincts and the spontaneous inspiration?
Once again, on the situation. Like if you're in a conference trying to sell a product, like this is the most amazing thing. You better prepare. Why is it the best thing? Why do people want this? Why do you prepare? And why?
Yeah, yeah.
But like, for example, I had many situations during tours where I still don't know what people are going to ask me, to be honest. And I had some weird question. I was like, improvise on the minutes, like on the seconds, you know, on the second, like one that made me laugh a lot was why fado singers, typical singers of genre of Portuguese music, sing with their eyes closed, and I'm like, thought about this in my life, really never thought about it, and pretty much like because they're feeling the music. I don't know, and they actually never might and find out why they close their eyes while they're singing, or like you never know what you're gonna do. So preparation is very necessary, but you also should be ready for uh, improvising in a minute and just like feeling your instinct and like yeah, this suits here in this situation because once again you cannot control like you can prepare but you don't might happen like imagine a microphone that you're going to use might be broken and you start sounding like you're on off so you need to improvise or I don't know like there's many situations but follow what you feel like and prepare always a little bit before and improvise in case you need it. My feeling once again is so next one.
So I think it will be our last question, and
Okay.
if we wouldn't have like an extras from you guys, then okay. It is better to use a more colloquial but correct language to better reach the public, or on the contrary, more formal, so that the feeling that what we say is important.
Okay. This is a hard one. Uh, well, if you're in conference, once again, situation, you better be formal. Although a joke is always going to be a good way of also making like feel relaxed a little bit, because it helps you not being so tense. And like once again, the curl up thing, like probably if you release a little bit of stress, you kind of go okay, they're mine. Because in general, like you need to try and conquer the crowd, and when the moment they are already trust you, it's way easier. Of course, if you're selling a product, it's way harder. But if you're just doing a concert, showing your city, it's going to be way easier. Because then, when the first minutes are very important, people understand if they want to be with you or if they don't believe in you, and just want you to shut up. So actually, I use a mix because of both styles. Because for example, I was brought up in a culture that I should respect everyone. I should respect my elders, even if the person of my age. If I don't know them, I should be talking with them in a very formal way. But then also I get the answer back on the person, and I see how the person is reacting to my approach. And then that makes me also change my attitude toward others. But in concerts, I just don't care to say who we are. I give kind of like a historical lesson or a cultural lesson, like. But at the same time, I know that people are there to hear me and to listen to me. So also very easy in that case. But yeah, like it's also a lot of cultures. Like for example, you're saying something like even the touching part, if you're like some people might freak out. So I always try to be like really read the situation and see how better like how better to be and how better to act. But also a little bit of formality is also nice because especially in tourism, like people most of the times want to be with people that actually treat them as a person and recognize them as not as like robots that is there just saying like ta 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 and knows that the next day is going to be repeating the same stuff. So like you're going to add a little bit of spice in the thing, like a little bit of sugar coating this and giving emphasis to this because that's what makes things easier. Like if you, that's how it works with friendships. Also, like if you're like cool, like if you add like, oh, this happened, like this was interesting, oh, this just happened. It's always a lot better than just like, yeah, this is this. Like always like same. It's boring. Who wants to be with a person who's always saying the same things in the same voice and doesn't expect anything. So your point of view and see how you better adapt. But well, was that a good answer, or I start wrong and going around when I don't know the answer, so I improvise a lot once again? Another example of improvisation. Because I didn't read these questions; they were gathered by some friends that were with us, and pretty much like I decided not to prepare it in any way, just really like go on the improvisation part because that's what I love. But I hope it gave you some answers to some people. I hope it is useful. I hope you enjoy it because it's already time to finish this. It's already almost 40 minutes of communication. But thank you very much for your time, guys. And hope this was helpful. And thank you for being with us. Camille in Poland, T.E.D, Erasmus Plus projects, helping us like sharing our cultures and sharing our ideas and plans with people. Bye bye.